The General Command of the Syrian Army affirms determination to cut off the vicious hand of terrorism which extended to the unarmed, safe civilians in the residential city of Adra. The Syrian government denounces the terrorist attacks in Adra, which reflects revenge against safe civilians promoted by their funders in Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Turkey. Syrian television tours the positions of the Syrian Arab Army under snowstorm. Prime Minister Wael Halaqi noted that Adra city is inhabited by state and non-state workers who are contributing to the building of the homeland and consolidating the factors of the Syrian people's steadfastness against the global war facing them. More about that in the following.
Prime Minister Wael Halaqi affirmed that the terrorist attack in Adra reflects revenge against safe civilians promoted by the funders and backers in Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Turkey after the terrorist group's bankruptcy and defeat. Halaqi affirmed that the Syrian army will hunt down those terrorists and restore security and stability to Adra city and every inch of the Syrian soil. Meanwhile, the General Commander of the Army and Armed Forces announced in a statement that army units embarked on carrying out an extensive sweeping operation in the direction of Adra city in Damascus countryside. The statement released by the command said that after precise reconciliation and concentrated fire strikes, unit of the Syrian Arab Army embarked on an extensive crushing operation in the direction of Adra. The statement added that the army units launched the operation after they have tightened the ring around the area and started storming the terrorist dens and the places where they are positioned, inflicting heavy losses upon them. The target of the terrorist act carried out by the Takfiri groups, armed terrorist groups affiliated to Jabhat al-Nusra overran Adra, a city home to housing compounds for workers, and committed massacre against unarmed civilians. The city, which hosts houses for state and non-state workers and hosted thousands of people who were displaced out of their houses in other areas because of the savage atrocities committed by the armed terrorist groups. Syria's permanent representative to the UN, Dr. Bashar al-Jafari, said that the Takfiri Wahhabi groups, which are funded by the Gulf states, have slaughtered hundreds of Syrians in the city of Adra, stressing the necessity for the Gulf states to halt the support of terrorist groups who are killing people on sectarian basis. Adra is currently experiencing the tragedy of Ma'lula, Saud, Karm al-Zaytun and the villages of Latakia, which were attacked by those Takfiri terrorist groups. The Syrian Arab Army has started a large-scale operation to clear Adra of terrorists, and it is determined to hunt down terrorist groups and restore security and stability to all Syrian governorates.
In cooperation with local security forces, stormed the terrorist hideout in Faraya neighborhood in the city of Hama. 8 mortars, 3 American-made missiles and a sniper. Moving to Deir ez-Zor, where Syrian army units repelled an attack carried out by terrorists belonging to the non-Syrian nationalities, when they tried to attack 2 military checkpoints in Ayash area in the city's countryside. Many terrorists were killed during the attack. A number of cars and vehicles owned by the terrorists and used by them were destroyed. In the shadows of the current tough weather conditions facing Syria, the news camera accompanied some youth and popular organizations who toured the Syrian Arab Army checkpoints in the security security and stability in Damascus and other Syrian governorates is the effort, and by the effort of the Syrian Arab Army units who are on full alert to confront terrorists and their supporters from the Gulf states and some other Western countries. Alongside military efforts in Syria fighting against terrorism and extremists in the Middle East and Syria, producer Najat Anzour and director directed a movie called King of the Sands that uncover the roots of terrorism.
Shedding light on the roots of terrorism, producer Najat Anzour directed his movie King of the Sands to reveal the origin of Saudi Arabia and its role in feeding terrorism.
It's a retaliation to those who behead people, those cannibals who eat the livers. It's a retaliation by a man with his patriotic team. It's a war be fought by the camera and culture alongside the soldiers of the Syrian Arab Army. No man in the world accepts what's happening in Syria today. It's an outcry in the face of those who support the terrorists. The film came as a result of a long research about the reasons behind extremism. Where does the quagmire lie? In the film, you will find the satisfying answers. This Salafist Wahhabi way of thinking that sweeps through the world nowadays must have an end. We must fight it by all means possible, and may this film be one of those means.
The content of the movie depicts the life story of Saudi Arabia founder King Abdulaziz Al Saud, who was a tribal leader in Kuwait and became a ruler of the Arabian Peninsula by shedding blood across the region.
أنا شخصيتي بالفيلم عبد الله بن خيزان هو أحد القادة.
I am an actor. I play the role of Abdulaziz bin Khayzaran, who is one of the leaders who were with Abdulaziz Al Saud. He was always in the front line of his raids. The film was produced under very hard circumstances. There were lots of pressures. Many of us were threatened. But through the support given by our director,
British statesman who made him sign on a document conceding the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine.
We should, as intellectuals, to use our civilized instruments to face this Wahhabi movement, the source of terrorism, the source of extremism, their ideology. Nowadays, the first challenge for all intellectuals, not only in Syria, I mean, in the Arab world and in the world, that we should face this ideology. We should finish with the
terrorism that Ibn Saud promoted. As the film was challenging, the audience also were outstanding by challenging the cold weather outside and the fear of a possible terrorist attack and coming to watch the film.
Nothing can make us afraid. We are a steadfast country by the help of God. We support the Syrian Arab Army and our president. No Wahhabi or anything else can prevent us from living our normal life. We insisted to come and attend such a fantastic movie.
Despite the political wrangling abroad about the film, The King of Sand was hosted by Dar al-Assad for...
The English-speaking channel Press TV disclosed the British involvement in establishing Wahhabi movement in Saudi Arabia and the Arabian Peninsula. More in the following.
The British press channel screened a program about the relation between the UK and the ruling family in Saudi Arabia, referring to the memories of Hamfer, one of the British spies in the Middle East. The memories disclosed important facts about the British involvement in the foundation of the Wahhabi sect. The program also cast light on the relation between Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, the founder of the Wahhabi movement, with Abdulaziz al Saud, and the use by Britain to end the Ottoman rule and start the implementation of British colonies projects in the region. By enabling al Saud to rule Saudi Arabia, Britain managed to carry out sinister plans in the Arab region through issuing takfiri fatwas and creating sectarian wars.
Syrian citizens in the occupied Syrian Golan affirmed a commitment to their Syrian Arab identity on the 32nd anniversary of the Zionist Knesset evil decision to annex the Golan to its entity. The Syrian citizens issued a statement rejecting the Israeli decision, showing determination to resist the occupation and its decision aiming at distorting the civilized cultural features, confiscating the land, water, and applying the Israeli null laws on Golan. The statement stressed that the people of Golan aspire with being longing to the day of liberation at the hands of the Syrian Arab Army under the leadership of President Assad. The Israeli occupation authorities on December 14, 1981 applied the decision of annexing the Golan when Syrian citizens rejected the Israeli identity and held broad popular protests against it. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Now to the latest in business and market news with Nariman Qassam, but after a short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Ministry of Domestic Trade issued its statistics for the limited and contributing companies since the beginning of this year until November, indicating that the number of the limited liability companies is 14 with a total capital of 61 million Syrian pounds. Moreover, the total number of the registered limited liability companies was 3,339, as a new company has been established in November. On the other hand, the number of the public and private contributing companies that were established in November is 393, so the total number of the limited liability and contributing companies reached 3,732. The Domestic Trade Establishment of Metals and Construction announced that it is still selling cement to citizens through its centers in all the governorates in order to prevent monopolizing this material in the market. The director of water establishment in Dalla Governorate asserted that the technical staff in the establishment focuses on sterilizing the drinking water according to the required quality and specifications for all the residents in the governorate. The director also pointed out that the water amount is sufficient as the establishment works to follow up the complaints and fix the damaged parts of the water network. Weekly trading value of Damascus Securities Exchange Index was up 1.89 to close the session at more than 1,253 points, as the total trading value reached about 11 million Syrian pounds, while the trading bulk exceeded 67,155 shares. On the other hand, the banking sector ranked first, followed by the insurance sector, then the industrial sector. Brent crude held above $180 a barrel as traders eyed a restart of ports in eastern Libya, while also looking ahead to next week's Federal Reserve meeting for any changes to its massive stimulus program. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.